we did last week, you're going to either find an angle or a side using a trig, but you have to draw your own picture. So it's going to be word problems. So yes, there's going to be some word problems. They're actually all word problems, but it's okay. We will get through it together, and it'll be fine. It'll just be fine, okay? So let's first talk about these two new words, angle of elevation and depression. When you think of the word elevation, like, what are some thoughts?
Height.
Height, yes. Anything else? What if a doctor says something about elevating your foot? Yeah, up, right? It's like,
angles.
Yeah. So think the angle of elevation is upward. Like, whatever you're looking at, I'm looking up because it's the angle of elevation. So what do you suppose angle of depression would be?
Lower.
Down.
Yeah, like I'm looking down. Like if we look here, I'm a lifeguard and I'm looking at the swimmer, I'm looking down. Okay? Let's pretend there is an actual line here, like this is like your horizontal sight. And here is another, just the horizon down here. They're parallel. What would you know about these two angles here? Your angle of depression and elevation. They're what? Why are they congruent? Alternate interiors. Will you guys circle this in your notes?
Yep.
These are congruent because they're alternate interior. Because the problem we end up having with the angle of depression, it's not ever in our right triangle. So then we put it down here at our angle of elevation because they're the same. Okay? So can you guys take a few moments and label those angles 1, 2, 3, and 4 as angle of depression or elevation? I mean, 50-50 chance. If you have no idea, just see. What do you think? Those angles listed is an angle of elevation or depression. And I promise there's no tricks. It's one or the other.
So it's 50% chance.
That's right. Those are good odds.
Let's go.
No way you can think of it is the angle above or below the dashed line. That horizontal line of sight. Okay, what'd you guys put for one? This guy right here. The bird. Anyone? No one has a guess? Number one.
Elevation. No, depression.
Depression. Right below this horizontal line. Okay, what about 2?
Elevation.
Elevation.
And then 3 is
Depression. How did we do? Anyone get 1 for 4? Woo! Anyone go 4 for 4? Woo! See?
Oh yeah, I didn't get it. Why did I raise your hand?
Did you go 4 for 4?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, are we ready to try draw one of these pictures? So it says, a search and rescue team is airlifting people from the scene of a boating accident when they observe another person is in need of help. If the angle of depression to the other person is 42 degrees and the helicopter is 18 feet above the water, what is the horizontal distance from the rescuers to this person to the nearest foot? So there's a lot of information in that paragraph, right? So, what kind of a triangle do we always have in trig?
Right.
All right, so start off with the right triangle, and then we'll just label what we know. Here's my right triangle. You're always going to have a right triangle, so just draw one. And then you can be as fancy or not fancy as you want. I think it helps if you give yourself a little bit of detail. So, I can't draw, I'm just telling you that now. Here's my helicopter. Okay, I don't know. A bird with, I don't know, that's my helicopter up in the air. And here's the person they're trying to rescue. Help! Save me. What else do we know, folks? It says the angle of depression is 42 degrees. So remember, here's our angle of depression. Where would it be in my triangle? Right here, right? Yep, 42. So remember, these are the same, alternate interior. What else? The helicopter is 18 feet above water. So is that going to be my horizontal distance or my vertical? It's 18 feet above the water. Yeah, right? It's above the water. And we are looking for the horizontal distance, so x goes here. And now we have a problem that we were solving last week. So step 1 is mark our angle. What is 18 with respect to 42? Opposite. And what's x? Adjacent. Now we're thinking SOHCAHTOA. What uses opposite adjacent? Tangent. So tan of 42 equals what? 18 over x.
No.
Yes, the x is in the denominator, so how do I get rid of it? Multiply by x.
I will.
Now how do I get x by itself over here? Beautiful. And now we just have calculator work. 18 divided by tangent of 42. Take a second, see what you get, and we'll compare answers.
So did you do negative tangent?
No, because I'm looking for a side. You only use the negative if you're looking for an angle. Anyone want a calculator? I'll walk around the basket.
No, it's fine.
Anyone else?
24 to
18 divided by.
19.
I think if I remember it, 19.9-ish.
Yeah.
But then since it wants the nearest foot, what would we route to? 20 feet. Does anyone need help entering that in your calculator? It's been a while.
Yeah. I did.
Yep, you have divide. And then we're going to have 42. 10. Enter. Woo!
That's why I got some.
Well, best case, we'll look at it. And we'll consider. Are we okay? They are in power school, but I had quite a few kids just not finish or were gone Friday, so I'm going to wait to pass them back until a few more kids take them. But they are in power school. Okay, disclaimer, this next problem, so this is like a stage 2 problem. The next problem's like stage 5. It's kind of hard. Okay, so just bear with me if you get kind of lost. Okay, so it says, Belle and Rich are setting up decorations for their school dance. Rich is standing 5 feet directly in front of Belle under a disco ball. The angle of elevation from Belle to the ball is 40 degrees, and Rich to the ball is 50 degrees. How high is the disco ball? So, what's step 1 in a word problem? Yeah, we can draw our disco ball.
Oh, right.
And then our triangle, yep. Now this one's kind of goofy because I'm going to end up with like 2 different triangles in here. I'm going to go like this, because here's Rich. I'm going to put R for Rich. And here's Belle. And then it told us what? Rich is standing how many feet in front of Belle? So I'm going to put a 5 here, right, to represent that distance. And what else were we told? Bell's angle's 40 degrees. And what's Rich's angle? 50. And then what are we looking for? The height of the distal ball. Yeah, this is a hard one. Because really, when we find this, we're missing this side, right? Do I know what this side is? But what can I call it?
X.
Well, I don't want to use X because I have this being X.
Y.
Y, is that fine?
Z.
I would do Y because sometimes my Z's look like 2. But Y. Okay, now let's forget about Bell over here. If I were just to go from Rich, what would my trig function be? What's X with respect to 50? Opposite, and what's Y? So what trig function uses opposite adjacent? Tan. So let's do this. Rich. R for Rich. Tangent of 50 equals X over Y. Now if I do it for Bell, what trig function would I use? What? The same thing, but how would I represent this whole bottom distance?
Y plus 5.
Y plus 5. So now for Bell,
Tan of 40.
yeah, tan of 40, yep, equals X over Y plus 5. So now I want to figure out what X is, right? Does anyone have an idea? Could I get both of these equations equal to one variable? Which one do I want by itself? X. So if I want to get X by itself in Rich's equation, what would I multiply by? Y. So I'm going to have Y tangent of 50 equals X. And then what would I multiply over here? Y plus 5. Let's just put that in parentheses. Okay, so far so good. Now, if both of these are equal to X, what can I do with this guy and this guy?
Put that in for X.
Yeah, we're going to substitute in, so I'm going to set them equal to each other. So Y tangent of 50 equals Y plus 5 tangent of 40. Okay, now I want to get Y by itself, so what's our first step? Right now I'm multiplying though. I have to do something over here first.
Minus 10 of 40.
Can we distribute? We gotta distribute.
40y
Yep. This is goofy, guys, I know.
plus, so it'd be tan 40y plus tan 200.
Nope, you're just gonna put the 5 out in front. So we just distributed.
Now can we subtract y tan?
Yep, and I want my y's on the same side, so I'm gonna subtract this guy over there.
So that'd be y tan tan equals 5 tan.
Can't do that. I know you want to, but you can't.
Why not?
Because it's stuck together.
Every time you put the key, I think it's a plus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you have to do like this.
What?
You want your y's on the same side.
You just can't take it away.
No.
It has to stay.
So you just have to do that.
Is this
No.
gonna be on the test?
Maybe.
What?
It might be.
Wait, 5, 10, 40.
So then you just
What can I factor out? What can I factor out of both of these? A y. So now, what's left of this if I take away y?
Tan 50.
Tan 50. minus what's left over here. Tan 40 equals 5 tan 40.
I think we just took a big step around.
I think you guys did.
Y equals tan 50. We went from
Okay. This is multiplying. How do I undo multiply? Divide. So now, I know, guys, but we're just gonna do it. We're almost done.
I don't have enough space for it.
I'm sorry.
Can you go step by step from the top
that was 2
again
steps
after
ago.
Yep.
That's gonna help.
Okay, now we have to crunch this in our calculator. 5 tangent 40 divided by tan 50 minus tan 40.
Okay, so y tangent 40
This is going to come down to, can you put,
4.2 is 5 tangent 40.
okay, 5.2.
Yeah. Then tan 50 is 1.2 minus.
Wait, I didn't get that. Try 5 tan of 40 again. I got 4.19. Try it again.
Oh, I might have said it wrong because that sounds right. 5 tan 40.
Yeah.
I got 11.
I got 4.2. Wait, what did I say the first time?
I think I put 5.9. You might have said it right. I might have wrote it down wrong.
So it is 5.2, 5.19.
4.19.
Yeah, but then I just rounded up to 4.
And tan 50 minus tan 40.
0.35.
Now divide those out.
12.
12-ish. 11.9.
I'm done.
Oh my goodness.
Positive thoughts.
How am I supposed to have positive thoughts?
Yeah,
Can
I
you go
did
back
not
to the
get
top
that.
so it can count?
Okay, but we're not even done.
We're not done?
We're not done. We just found y. What variable were we looking for?
X.
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 Gotta plug it back in.
So now we gotta plug back
I mean,
in.
it won't shoot
If this is on the test, I'm just gonna take a 0
Okay.
on this problem.
Alright.
Guess. We're gonna learn shortcuts, right?
Money, you sound evil.
I am far from evil, you guys.
It's not.
Okay. So we just found y is 12.
I got 2.7.
So now let's plug in 12 for Rich. So tangent 50 equals x over 12. I need to erase something at some point. I'll just scroll down. Tangent 50 equals x over 12. Tangent 50 equals x over 12. Tangent 50. How do I get rid of the 12? Thank you. And now it's calculator work again. 14.3. Whew, that was rough.
I got that one.
So this is so you guys know, like this is why this would be like an enriched problem versus like
Normal geometry isn't doing this.
not this. No,
Wow.
they did like the helicopter problem, but they would never do anything like
I'm
this.
going to.
Yes, sir.
Can you scroll back up so I can get my
Yeah.
goal first?
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So first step, we had to write our two trig equations for Bell and Rich. So that was here. And then we had to get them equal to the same variable so we can set them equal to each other. So that's why they're both equal to x. And then from here, since they both are equal to the same thing, we can set them equal to each other. And then I know you don't want me to say this, but then it just turns into algebra.
I just hate algebra.
I know, but that's all we did was rules of algebra. We distributed, subtracted over, and then we factored. We factored out a y. Logan, you just let me know when you want me to scroll.
Okay. Let me put in grades somewhere else.
Why? Because I get irritated when I was a student, I was irritated when teachers didn't, so I don't want to be that.
It's like, so I missed Friday, you know?
Why are you not happy about
I
that?
missed 2 tests.
Just yesterday.
So like, my mom was like, oh, you already like, you graded up the whole level. In science, I missed the other test. I couldn't work for the past like 4 weeks.
That would irritate me.
Let's stop this. She didn't put any grades until last week.
And see that, wouldn't that bother you, like not knowing where you're sitting?
Yeah.
But we all have our own things. We all have our own things.
Okay, can you scroll down?
Yep. Is this?
I'm on the green one.
Oh, okay. So then from here, we took out a y from both equations. Then divided by this whole thing. And that's how we got to the blue. And this is just straight up calculator work. I know.